Here's your rewritten version with the same length, atmosphere, and meaning preserved while using different phrasing. A ghost story about myself. True internet ghost stories wasn't my podcast of choice, but desperate times called for desperate measures. Pushing through the agony of my quad-building workout demanded distraction, so TIGS it was. Did they actually use that abbreviation? Probably not, but it was too perfect not to. The format was simple. The host would dig up some supposedly true creepy tale from the web and narrate it. He'd interject with skeptical comments. Could this be real? Or, this sounds authentic. For now, always addressing his audience as listeners. Everyone except his co-host, that is, who he called fellow traveler. She only spoke during intros and outros, and their strained dynamics suggested some messy history, though definitely not romantic. The chemistry was painfully absent. After 5 minutes of weekend recaps and Patreon plugs, they finally got to the story. I was midway through my second set of split squats when something about the narrative struck me as familiar. With each detail, the resemblance grew more unsettling until coincidence became impossible. They were describing something that had happened to me, something I'd never shared with anyone except one person. Yet every detail was incorrect. I cut my workout short, skipped the shower, and raced home. Back in my apartment, I replayed the episode through my smart speaker, then played it again. Halfway through the second listen, I started Googling key phrases, hunting for the story's origin. Nothing. No results anywhere. The complete absence of evidence somehow made my growing panic worse. Wasn't this supposed to be from the internet? Shouldn't there be some digital footprint? Just dead ends. I found the podcast's contact email, the one for story submissions and feedback. Maybe someone had sent it in. But the host had called this story brand new. That couldn't be. The only other person who knew this story, the one whose perspective it was told from, they couldn't have submitted it. My email to them was barely coherent, parts in all caps, sent in the throes of a full-blown panic attack. I demanded to know their source, the submitter's identity, any information at all. Surprisingly, they replied, though I guess paranormal podcasters must be used to unhinged messages. They refused to share personal details, but thanked me for listening and linked their Patreon. We are together on the roads, they wrote, as the episode, titled A Long Drive Home, continued playing. The story went like this. I was at an out-of-state college and befriended a doormate who coincidentally was from near my hometown. I won't share specifics. I'm uncomfortable doing so. When Thanksgiving approached, I planned to fly home until he offered me a ride. Cheaper than a flight, and we got along well. Same floor, saw each other regularly. A 5-hour drive seemed perfect. Split gas, avoid airports. We left after our last Tuesday classes around noon, planning to arrive by 6 or 7 p.m. I met him in his room, and we walked to student parking. We'd mostly hung out in groups, so I worried about awkwardness, but it felt normal. 20 minutes in, we merged onto the interstate. We'd eaten beforehand to save time. The drive started uneventfully, some playlist playing, until he switched to a podcast. A strange one. Some guy rambling about patterns in reality, how he traveled seeking them. After a few minutes, I asked to switch back to music. Just 2 more minutes, he said. Despite the cold outside, the car grew uncomfortably warm. Sunlight through the windows made me feel sick, headache coming on. The podcast's monotone voice didn't help. I remember the host saying, "You know you're on the path when the world beyond it starts disappearing. The signs you seek are seeking you." Then he turned it off. Indie pop returned, but the treble was too sharp. I gulped water and coughed. As he asked if I was okay, we passed a rest area sign. I said I was fine, but suggested stopping. "No problem," he agreed. 2 minutes later, we pulled into the deserted rest stop. Just one car parked far away. We parked near handicapped spots and got out. I'd hoped fresh air would help, but I still felt feverish and uneasy. He excused himself to use the bathroom, heading toward the bleak concrete building, low-roofed, the color of storm clouds. Behind it loomed an endless forest. Something about those trees unnerved me. How could I tell if they were real? They might have been on loop, like a glitched video. When he returned, he went straight to the car. I expected some interaction, but nothing. I took a last look at those unsettling trees before noticing something on a picnic bench. A red line drawn like a double-headed arrow. Above it, strange words, Latin, I think. Quisque suos patimur menis. I should have seen that earlier. I'd been right there. But I hadn't. Because it wasn't there before, I told myself. But that's impossible. Things don't just materialize, do they? The car horn made me jump. Through the windshield, I only saw his silhouette. "Calm down," I told myself, walking back across the grass. "You're imagining things. This is normal." Back in the car, the podcast resumed. He drove silently, staring ahead. I closed my eyes, exhausted from midterms. Maybe a nap would help. As I drifted off, the podcast voice said, "We think we're searching the roads for answers, but others have walked them before us and still walk them. When we enter the darkness, they're waiting. They're the ones traveling those long roads. We're just passengers, spectators, hosts." My dreams were chaotic, a cemetery where people buried themselves, a school with hidden doors to wolf and vampire-filled woods, an ancient lighthouse where I awaited the world's end from the sea. The car jolting to a stop woke me. My mouth was dry, head foggy. "Where are we?" I asked. "Rest stop," he said. "Needed a break." I yawned as he got out. Then I saw it. The same rest stop, same lone car, same picnic table, same endless trees. No, I muttered, panic rising. "This isn't real. Wake up." I punched my thighs, dug nails into palms, anything to shock myself awake. The podcast still played despite the engine being off. There are two known worlds, the living and the dead. Some belong to one, some to both. We can move between, but carefully. There are debts. I bolted from the car, not toward the trees or building, but the other vehicle. The sun hung low, casting a strange silvery glow. Was it even the sun? The black SUV's tinted windows reflected my distorted image as I approached. Then nausea hit me. I froze just as he exited the restroom. His shadow wasn't right. With the sun's position, it should have been behind him. Instead, it stretched toward me like black tape while he stood motionless, watching. Heart pounding, I ran to the SUV, banging on its windows, screaming. The engine started. The window lowered. I was inside, in the driver's seat. My doppelgänger looked at me, whispered, "I'm sorry," then raised the window as I collapsed. Next thing I knew, I was home. My mom said she'd found me on the couch after grocery shopping. I claimed illness and retreated to my room. My phone blew up with messages asking if I'd heard. Apparently, my ride had posted a suicide note and killed himself. I don't understand. The person who died couldn't have been the one who drove me. Maybe I'm not who I was. Maybe another version of me exists. I swear I just heard my own voice downstairs talking to Mom. That was the podcast's version. All wrong. First, they drove. I didn't have a car freshman year. We were dorm neighbors who discovered we lived close and decided to carpool. No podcast either. We listened to a shared playlist the whole time. We only stopped once. Both used the bathroom, me first. I do recall those trees seeming repetitive, but I never mentioned it. So how did they know? The Latin phrase, quisque suos patimur manis, translates to, we all suffer the same ghosts from the Aeneid. The whole trip was bizarre. At one point I dozed off, and time seemed distorted. I'd forgotten the dreams until now, seeing myself driving, removing sunglasses to reveal empty eye sockets, a white sky with blue clouds, a silver sun leaching all warmth. The ending's all wrong. I'm alive. We arrived at my house. Here you are, they'd said. End of the road. What about you? I'd asked. Close to home? No, they'd replied. Still far to go. They drove off. I went inside, greeted my parents, played with the dog. When Dad asked me to move the car to the garage, I was shocked to see the same vehicle parked outside. No one was inside. Or almost no one. For a second, I thought I saw something. The registration had my name. Our texts were gone. No social media connection, like they'd never existed. The following days were madness. People don't vanish. Cars don't materialize. My memories were real. I knew them, but no one else remembered. Years passed before I stopped obsessing over it. Then I heard that podcast. Their version was wrong, yet true somehow. Like someone else's memory of my life. Maybe I slipped into the wrong reality, and they recorded the right one. Or maybe this is the wrong one. Maybe I never left that car. Maybe I'm the passenger. Maybe you are too. My car's outside now. Someone's in the driver's seat. They look like me. Or maybe a shadow, a reflection. Or nothing at all. Perhaps we're all just shadows, visible in certain light, invisible in others.
Honestly, this story feels pretty believable to me. My take? The whole thing was just a dream. But how do you explain the car suddenly appearing, one he never owned? Unless that was part of the dream too? What if he's still asleep? Drop your theories below. Catch you next time.